tap the view remote. It's on, it just needs to. There we go.
Please, it's live.
Okay.
Might be at 6 o'clock today. Ready? Call the meeting to order at 6. We acknowledge that the town of Winnipeg Beach is located on First Nations Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties made on these territories. We dedicate ourselves to move forward with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration to make Manitoba an inclusive and accessible place for everyone who lives here. Can you actually hear me out there tonight? Yeah, good. Mind the gallery refrain from discussions, please. Agenda item 4, approval of agenda. I need a mover, please. Seconder? All right. Be it resolved that the agenda for the June 11th, 2025 regular meeting of council be approved. In favor? There, here.
We voted.
Oh, there's an addition.
Excuse me, we voted,
Yeah.
Sorry.
so it can't be added.
I didn't see there was an addition there.
Okay.
Go through it again? Or we're good?
Council's voted and
I never voted. So we're good to go?
No, following agenda.
Procedure.
No.
Following addition.
Excuse me, it was read, it was left off the resolution, all in favor, 4 voted in favor of it,
So 5.
5 voted in favor of it, so the addition is not added to the agenda.
It's not.
Yeah.
Not carried. Never seen that till I read it. Number 5, confirmation of minutes. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the May 28th, 2025 regular meeting and June 2nd, 2025 special meeting be approved as circulated. Mover, please. Seconder? Dean? Discussion? We're good? All in favor? Carried. Excuse me. 7.1, accounts payable approval. Be it hereby resolved that council approves the accounts payable listing being check number 24441 to 24501 inclusive of checks, electronic payments, and payroll issued in an amount of $86,928.23 as circulated. Mover, please. Seconder? Anybody got any questions?
No.
We're good? All in favor? 8.1 bylaw 02-2025 tax levy. Be it resolved that town council for the town of Winnipeg Beach hereby give first reading to tax levy bylaw number 02-2025. Mover, please. Seconder? Carried. Oh, I never called for a vote. Sorry. You got a question?
No.
Or voting? Okay, call for a vote? Or any questions?
All in favor?
Oh, sorry. Okay, Stan, slow down. All in favor?
Been a long day.
You're going too quick for me. Nine point one, 2025 Western Canadian Blind Golf Championship Sponsorship request. Whereas the town of Winnipeg Beach has received requests for sponsorship, therefore be it resolved that the council of town of Winnipeg Beach authorize the sponsorship level and empty to the Western Canadian Blind Association. Mover. Seconder. Claire. Discussion. No? We gotta put some amounts in here.
Yeah, I think we should go with the bronze for 500.
What's everybody think?
I'll back up the bronze too.
That's fine.
We're all good? Sorry.
We need to give some thought to the fact that we have multiple requests here and we have $3,100 to last us for the balance of the year.
For the
So,
balance of the year.
for the balance of the year, we have $3,100 for donation requests. So, we have several tonight.
We got 3 tonight, right?
Campers for Cure,
Breast cancer, right?
And
Red River Operational Cleanup. So,
Well, maybe
So,
we should reconsider on that one. Or is everybody good?
everybody's fine with 500, I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that everybody realizes we have $3,100 for the balance of the year and we have 3 requests for tonight.
Okay,
All-
so
oh,
I'll
sorry.
amend my motion to 250 then.
250?
I'll back up 250.
Thank you.
Everybody?
Sounds good.
All in favor?
Thanks, Mark.
Carried. What's this here?
Oh, it's the sponsorship package, but I can put that information in there.
Oh.
The difference.
Agenda item 9.2, Campers for the Cure, silent auction donation. Whereas the request for donation has been received by the town of Winnipeg Beach, therefore be it resolved that council of the town of Winnipeg Beach authorize the silent auction prize in the amount of to Campers for the Cure. Mover, please. Second. Discussion on this?
Do we have swag still? Because this is a silent auction. Do we have anything that's appropriate for a silent auction?
Yep.
Yep. Do you have any idea what we have, or?
We have, I don't know specifically, but we could easily set a dollar amount and we could allocate that much swag in that dollar figure.
When we have some of these donation requests, would it be possible to at least include in the agenda an inventory of what we have on swag? So that way we could make a decision, beforehand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like example, if we have like 4 sweatshirts and blah, 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 then we would know beforehand. Because some of those sweatshirts themselves are like 40 to 60 bucks.
Mhm.
So the hoodies and that, they have value.
Mayor Cotton, we've discussed previously as well that we do have points on our, that we receive on our credit card, which would allow, there's also dollar value there that would allow administration to purchase gift certificates. Tootsie Rogoski was featured in a pamphlet that was distributed province-wide on her work and efforts as a volunteer with them, and I believe survivor as well. I am wondering if we could, this would be, especially in recognition of all of the work that Tootsie has put in, and our community was mentioned in it, that we also look at a $250 gift certificate donation purchased through points off of our credit card, which is then nothing coming out of the
No cost.
3,100.
Thank you for reminding me of that, because I remember reading up on that. 250? We're good?
Of using the points,
Yeah,
using the
the
points
points.
that we have on the credit card.
Yeah, I
That
can back that
enables.
up.
All in favor? Agenda item 9.3, Red River Operation Cleanup. Whereas a request for donation is received by the town of Winnipeg Beach, therefore be it resolved that the council for the town of Winnipeg Beach authorize a donation in amount of to Red River Operation Cleanup. Mover, please. Seconder? There. Discussion. Amount, are we gonna do it?
500. He, Councilor Blanchier does, this is a project that he took on himself, and I know he's got copious personal hours involved in this, and a lot of out-of-pocket expense on his account, so anything we can do, we should help him.
Yeah, he came here and presented a strong
Yeah,
case.
remember that.
Yeah.
Anybody else? So, all in favor for the 500?
Oh, yeah.
Just
Well,
one-
oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Mayor Plotkin, if administration could be sure to include them on our grant request information that goes out for the actual grant application. This is a new, first-time request, so it would be, since we are considering supporting them, it might be helpful if we have their information with our grant request end of January that we take into account during budget time.
So, are we thinking of putting that off until that, or
No,
next
no,
time?
no, so that
he
next
does
year,
it?
it's considered when we're doing our large, making our
Yeah.
large
That
decisions.
makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor? Carried. Ten point one, 2024 EV charger summary. Be resolved that council accept the 2024 EV charger summary report as presented. Mover. Seconder? There. Any discussion on this one? Yep.
I think we should double our rate, at least minimum double. And again, I saw 2 or 3 cars charging up there, but we're pretty much the low end of the scale. And you know, and it's not my ambition to make money off it, but if it's there, let's not lose money. So we can, and I've been on this thing for over 1.5 years now, and it's continuing to lose money. So if we double it and then we come back 6 months or whatever from now, we can have another, and all I want to do is just at least see black numbers instead of red numbers.
Yeah, the main cause for the loss is due to the annual or the monthly hydro charge, the flat
Exactly,
rate.
but
That's where,
yeah, I'm not here to make money, but if we're paying hydro, we're paying to charge somebody else's car up.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I had an electric car, because I'd fill it there every time.
So did you?
Well, I certainly agree with what Councillor Jarvis is saying. We also don't want to price ourselves out with other EV chargers in the area. So I think it would be helpful if we also took that into consideration, because people may just drive down the way to Matlock and charge.
You're right. I would say something here.
I did check the other ones, and we are by far and away the lowest, and I know the one by Panema Railroad Station is $20 to say hi to it. You know what I mean, there's hi, there's $20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so, and I don't know what, we're like a dollar or something like that. So I understand what Councillor Gendron's saying, but we are so far under the radar that there's nothing, even doubling it still would put us as the lowest.
I don't think we can compare ourselves to Matlocks because they have a 50 in there, and you can charge a car right up in 45 minutes, where it takes 8 to 12 hours with this one. So I would like to suggest that we get a faster charger.
Why don't we
You
just see
can charge more.
what doubling it will do first? But I don't see a lot of, ours is the only one that I see people at. I've never seen anybody charging their cars at Matlock or Panema. I've never seen anybody charging their cars in Gimli.
I've seen that.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just saying is that they're coming here because we're so cheap. And at least here they can plug their car in, walk down now and get a coffee, and come back an hour later. You know, and they might have enough juice to get home. Who
Well, they
knows?
have enough, if they plug it in, they can go to the beach for the day. That's how
Yeah.
slow of charger it is, so they're tying them up all day. That's why I suggest maybe a faster charger and they can move around. Yes?
The discussion at the time when this was put in was offering the convenience in the town. We're offering it. Based on the additional comments by Councillor Jarvis, I can certainly support doubling it and seeing how we make out there.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'll just say, let's double it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And again, I've never, south of us, I've never seen anybody charging any of them down there. And in Gimli, again, I've never seen anybody there. And it could be cost factor. If you know, it's like finding gas stations in Winnipeg. Once you find out where the lowest gas is, everybody goes there.
Okay, all in favor?
I'm doubling it.
Oh, sorry, doubling.
I just need clarity on
Oh,
how
sorry.
we would like that worded in the resolution.
I guess we can't put double.
Like-
Oh, sorry.
What is our charge per hour? What are we charging? Or 3 hour, whatever?
Give me one moment.
I thought it was like $1. And then we give them grocery cards. Safeway gift cards.
Yeah, Cotton?
Sorry.
I'm just wondering if, in the interest of time, that the CAO amend the report to indicate, or the resolution indicate that there will be a follow-up at the next meeting to adjust our charges, and then discussion can be had or information shared with us, and a resolution at the next meeting to determine the new charges.
So just skip this one.
But well, it's just that we accept the report and further be it resolved that administration provide information in order for council to make a decision on new rates at the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll be able to get that.
Okay, so table for next meeting.
Well, but we can accept the report, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can amend the resolution to give direction to provide additional information on a rate change.
Yeah, I just put the second report.
Okay,
Good.
I would recommend giving direction to administration through the resolution
Yep.
to prepare information on a rate increase.
So it now says, set report for administration, prepare report on rate increase. Is that how you want it?
Yeah.
This makes sense. We can vote on this. All in favor? Excuse me. 10.2, Recreation Master Plan Proposal. Whereas the town's strategic plan identifies the creation of a recreation center, rink, and curling club long-term improvement plan to assist with budgeting and inform the community of planned improvements, develop and promote recreation and community programs that respond to the current residents' needs. Whereas the proposal to undertake the development of a recreation master plan has been submitted and reviewed by the administration. Whereas the proposal aligns with the goals and objectives set out in the town's strategic plan and provides a framework for community engagement and long-term planning. Therefore, be it resolved that Council of the Town of Winnipeg Beach hereby approves the proposal for the development of a recreation master plan as presented and authorizes administration to proceed with necessary steps to initiate the project. Mover, please. Okay. Seconder. Thank you. Discussion.
A lot of comment in the past has been, money is spent, people invest their time in answering, and then things don't get done. It was identified in our strat plan. It was an issue for the public, an issue for council. I think this is a good opportunity for the community and those that took the time to involve themselves in the strat plan to understand that we took it seriously, and we're now moving forward with next steps as to what's been identified.
Okay, anybody else? Mark?
Yeah, I think us around the table probably know what's wrong with that, with the rec center. I think throwing an extra $12,000 into this strat plan, master plan is not needed. We paid $10,000 already. Are they gonna come back with us again with the tourism, public works for another $10,000-15,000. So
I'd like
I
to,
think we can figure something out around the table with the 5 of us.
this takes in far more than the rec center.
Yeah. But all the sporting, like the parks and the playground equipment, I would imagine also, right?
Yes.
Mayor Potton, I would ask Councillor Kozlowski not to speak for me. I'm at this table, and no, I do not know what the issues are with recreation. And so I would like to see us moving on, respecting the people that took the time. We discussed this in our budget plan. We put money, the request was there. No one at this table at the time of our budget discussions said they didn't want that in there. And it's next steps in our strat plan. If we're not gonna take next steps in our strat plan, we've wasted the money and people's time in doing our strat plan in the first place.
You're correct, but we've got to be cautious with our money, or the people's money. I don't see how we can't figure it out. Maybe we never have, you know,
Can't figure out
what we should be doing with everything to make it work. But maybe we should table this till a later time. Should we, what was everybody like? What do you want to speak to? On this, what's all in here?
I'll speak.
Okay,
I have two of these. I have one from 2017, I have one from 2022. And I agree with both councillors. But I think we should, we either we have to move forward on this. We have to do it once and for all. You know what I mean? We either do something with this rec center and we make it, I know that Deputy Mayor Houle and I were at a meeting a month and a half ago, and some of the rec centers that are operating in our area in the Interlake are just phenomenal activities that they're doing. And so it would be remiss if we didn't at least, try to mitigate the loss. Like it is, every year becomes more costly than the year before. I mean, it's like throwing, birds at a brick wall and hopefully one of them breaks through. Like we do the same thing that we always do and we just continue to lose money. So we either A, make this the final step in it. We've come this far as indicated by Councillor Gendron. We do it and then we make the decision and move forward or shelve it. But I think we would be remiss if we didn't go through for this plan on the rec center.
anybody else like to speak? We're good. Oh, sorry.
I would
sorry.
just like to clarify that it's not specifically for the recreation center, it's for recreation in our community.
Yeah, I understand.
All encompassing, including
Right,
taking into account what our neighbors are doing for recreation, like complimentary, not.
Right, but calling it what it is that we have a rec director. We have a person that's responsible for that and for lack of a better place, that's where they're at. So our recreational programs come from that. So,
And that's one piece of recreation, yes.
yeah, the building itself is one piece, however, that's,
Playground.
all recreation emanates from that building.
Oh, I gotta quit turning now, sorry.
I'd like to request a recorded vote on this matter, please.
I was thinking first. No more discussion? Oh, excuse me. Did you have your hand up, Larry? Sorry.
Pardon me?
Did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I would suggest table it till a time further.
I'd like to, myself, but that's me, I would like to have I would like to review it a little bit more, see what it's gonna consist of. Who was first?
I'm just gonna say review the strat plan, the plan, or review what we're talking
Well,
about
go
right
over
now.
it, like what's all entailed in it. I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Mayor Potton, it's been on the agenda since Friday for our review. That's the whole point of getting the agenda out to us on Friday.
I read it,
We've had multiple days to review it.
yeah.
This was in the budget, and everyone at this table supported what was in the budget. So I am a little bit confused now as to why comments are being made about saving money and tabling this. We need to be making some decisions. This has been before us during budget discussions, and we've had this to review. I fail to see what continuing to wait to make a decision on this is going to solve.
Because maybe we can figure something out.
Then if that is your perspective, then vote against it. If you think that there is another way to do this, then your option is to vote against this. But tabling it
Okay?
is not going to change that.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Barry.
Yeah, I have faith in council being able to figure out these problems. I think it's just a matter of us, working together and getting it done. Yeah.
Yep,
How often has our recreation committee met?
never.
So the consensus around the table is that as a group of 5, do any one of us have an in-depth background in recreation?
No?
So I'm failing to understand then, if nobody at this table has an in-depth background in recreation, I'm failing to understand how suddenly the thought is that the 5 of us can resolve. This isn't a problem to resolve. This is getting community input and stakeholders' input to see what the right direction for recreation in this town is.
I agree with you.
So I'm not sure there is anyone at this table that has the expertise to hold public consultations, to properly evaluate what's there and to make decisions.
I think that people put us in charge to try to make decisions because they have some faith in us.
And we made a decision to have a strat plan. And the next phase is,
I'm sorry, I'm still talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to cut you off. And let's be honest, we haven't tried. Have we? Like,
you can let me know when you're finished.
okay,
Okay.
give her.
We made a commitment to have a strat plan done. A strat plan isn't just let's have the plan done and then not follow recommendations or suggestions in the plan. As I said, this was in the budget. Everyone sitting at this table made the commitment for that expenditure. I fail to see what happened between then and now that suddenly we don't want to follow through with this. This is once again asking the public for input, and that was one of the things that was raised. We've told you before, and then nothing's done with it. Well, we were looking at having something done for the next phase. The 5 of us committed to it in the budget, and now suddenly, some of you don't want to do it. I'm really struggling with that, and because you all agreed to this, sitting around the table for budget, and now suddenly some of you aren't.
I'm gonna have to cut you off there. You've said that 3 times now, that we're struggling with it and all of a sudden what happened? I can't speak for the others. I know I've thought about this and thought, are we gonna implement it when we get this plan back? Are we actually gonna do that? Or is this something we can do that doesn't cost money? And that's what I'm a little leery of is, are we gonna implement it? Like, are we gonna follow through with everything they say? Like,
Are we following through with our strat plan by not taking the next steps here?
that's not the question I answered. I asked, I'm sorry.
Okay, I will commit to following through with it. I can't speak for the others, but we had a strat plan done, and Mayor Plotton, now you're suggesting we not follow through with the recommendations of the strat plan or what, as a council, we agreed to at budget meetings.
So when once did I say I didn't want to follow through? I had about 3 different ideas out there, and I'm trying to figure it out for everybody. It's not one-sided, this thing, this is all of us. So are we going to implement it when we get it? If we are, it's worth the money. Oh, sorry, Doug.
Yeah, I think whatever we have in the budget also, we can take away from the budget. We can add to the budget. It's not written in blood right now. We can take the parking out of there for the lot on Stitt. There's various things we can do to save the town money and put it to something that is more needed, like roads, sidewalks, curbs, etc. with this town has been lacking for years. So just again, because it's in this budget, doesn't mean that we have to follow through with it. And $12,000 is a lot of money again to be talking to CAO, to our counselors, and to the public.
Yeah, I'd just like to clarify that if council is wanting to change the budget, there will have to be a whole, like,
Resolution.
reissuing of public hearing,
Right.
consultation, all of that
Yeah.
will have to re-happen again if the budget is changed.
Okay, Doug?
I disagree with that because the budget is our problem. I've been here 3 years, I've never seen a budget. And what I mean by disagreeing with, that we can't change the budget. That's the problem that we have with the budget. We budgeted $30,000 for 3 straight years for sidewalks and we've managed to spend $1,400. That's it. Do you know what I mean? There are situations, if you go through that budget with a fine-tooth comb, you'll see, like this is the 2025 budget is the first time ever that we've allocated the handy van into the proper category. It's never been there. So what's the use of doing a budget? What's the use of getting together if you've got a measuring stick, like a budget, and we have people that are running departments in this town that don't have to submit budgets? Do you know what I mean? I think that the budget should be the measuring stick and I think we should stick to it. We can't just keep reinventing the budget because we fear, well, we don't want to do the strat plan, but we can take some money from here and do, no. We need to, once we sign that budget off, the 5 of us need to realize that that is the budget. Period. Otherwise, you might as well just give up, forget even having budgets, and just hope like hell that it all works out at the end of the year.
The budget will balance itself.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
I'm not trying to make a joke of it, but, no other comments? We're good? All in favor?
Of?
Oh. What this states, I read it all.
Good.
I asked for discussion, and we usually have a vote.
Jesus.
Sorry.
No, you called for the vote, you asked in favor, I'm voting in favor
I didn't know,
of
'cause-
following through with the rec
I
plan.
said so.
And I've asked for the recorded vote.
Against?
Carried.
Yeah, I was just trying to. All right. Carried. Shot of water. Ten point three, breast cancer pledge drive, auction prize request. Whereas a request for donation has been received by the town of Winnipeg Beach, therefore be resolved that council of the town of Winnipeg Beach authorizes silent auction donation and amount out to the breast cancer pledge drive. Move it, please. Seconder? Larry? Discussion.
I think this is very important. I think they requested, 150 to 200, so I'd like to give 200 if we can, if it's available.
Oh, it's a really good function. What to do?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes?
I agree, again, when it's a silent auction request, I'm just thinking standard would be, well, we have the points to use them, use the points to cover a gift card or something.
Everybody, what sort of?
Yeah, I'll go to 250. Again, it's auction swag points off the card, because we did that for the blind golf.
No.
And again, it just doesn't seem appropriate to not do 250, because this isn't something that affects the budget directly if we use swag and points off the card. So let's go 250.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
All in favor of 250? Carried. Lakeview Gimli West Shore Foundation Golf Tournament Sponsorship Request. Whereas the town of Winnipeg Beach has received a request for sponsorship, therefore be resolved that the council of the town of Winnipeg Beach authorize the sponsorship level in dollars amount to the Lakeview Gimli West Shore Foundation Golf Tournament. Oh, don't worry about that one. I was gonna keep on going. Mover, please. Doug, seconder. There. Discussion. Yeah,
Yeah, before we go any further, it is sold out. It is sold out.
Yeah, the wording of the resolution included a potential clause to attend, so that's what I just asked Mayor Pop to stroke out. So,
but what they're looking for here is a tournament, I mean, donations.
Well, they wanted a team too, no?
Or, yeah, a team from here.
I'll speak first, and I against silent auction, so we can get in that, and they have a whole, sponsorship on a hole for $150, and West Shore does a lot of work.
Oh,
Albeit they don't-
absolutely they do.
Yeah, so, you know, if we can, give them some swag, points, whatever, blah, 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 and just do a hole for 150 bones, then I'm good with that.
Somebody else think?
Yeah,
Is that good?
I like that.
All in favor for 150?
Plus swag,
Plus swag.
yeah, they have an auction.
approximately what will be the value of the swag?
Equal to 150, yeah,
Okay.
that's like 300 for them, so. They do a copious work, West Shore, copious charity.
So I just added 150 to the line in swag with the 150. All in favor for that? Carried. Ten point five, Eastern District Municipal Golf Tournament invite. Be it resolved that is approved to participate in the Eastern District Municipal Golf Tournament being held at Maplewood Golf Club on August 18th, 2025 at a cost of $150 per person plus out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diem. Mover, please. Barrett. Seconder? Discussion.
I'm not a golfer.
I'm not a golfer. Sorry, go ahead.
They're also seeking 4 sponsors and prize donations. Do we want to do our standard swag and a gift certificate, total value of the $250,
I'm cool,
and do it as a prize donation rather than
yeah, cool,
an entry?
Everybody good?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All in favor? I'm just trying to write that in there correctly. 250 in total, correct? All in favor? Carried. Ten point six, Canadian Fallen Heroes Foundation support request. Whereas a request donation has been received by the town of Winnipeg Beach, therefore be it resolved that council of the town of Winnipeg Beach authorizes the donation in the amount of Canadian Fallen Heroes Foundation. Mover. All right, seconder. Discussion.
Yeah, I recommend that we do, as we did in previous years, quarter page black and white for $340. And what this is, it's pictures, talks about the lives of the veterans and everything, and their pictures in there as well, and it comes out every year for the Legions and
Anybody else?
I agree.
Yep.
All in favor? Item 10.7, Royal Canadian Legion Military Service Recognition Book. Be it hereby resolved that the council authorize a quarter-page ad in the 17th Annual Military Service Recognition Book at 340. Isn't that what we just did?
Yeah, we just did that.
Yeah, there's,
There are two different entities.
Oh, military service.
Canadian Fallen Heroes was the one that we just did. Canadian Fallen Heroes Foundation. This one is the North Manitoba, Northwest Ontario Command of the Royal Canadian Legion.
a military service recognition book.
Yes.
Mover. Second. Everybody in favor, all for 3-4? For the ad?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Agenda item 10.8, EIPD, RM of Gimli bylaw 25-003 for comment. Whereas council received RM of Gimli bylaw 25-003 for review and comment, and whereas council has reviewed, therefore resolved that the council for the town of Winnipeg Beach issue the following comments. Mover, please. Seconder? Discussion.
There's no discussion. There's no discussion.
No comment.
No?
No comment.
Oh, where it says no comment? All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 10.9, FCM-GHG Reduction Pathway Feasibility 2025. Whereas council previously authorized administration in conjunction with the Sustained Energy Group Inc. to apply for funding under the Green Memorial Fund, GMF, study retrofit pathway for municipal buildings in 2024 for the community center and a curling club. And whereas the 2024 funding application was not successful, whereas the opportunity remains to reapply in 2025 under the Smart Sense program, which supports municipalities in securing funding through GHG reduction pathway feasibility study stream of the GMF, municipalities in securing funding. And whereas the project may be delivered at a little to no cost to the town through a combination of federal, provincial funding, including FCM, Building Sustainable Communities, and from the ground up and in-kind municipal contributions. Therefore be resolved, council authorize administration to proceed with the 2025 reapplication to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund GHG Reduction Pathway Feasibility Study in partnership with the Sustained Energy Group Inc. through the Smart Sense program. Be it further resolved that the town commit to providing in-kind support, including staff time and access to the community center and curling club as required for the application and study process. Mover, please. Mayor, seconder. Any discussion? Okay.
I vote against it because I voted against it every single time. I don't think we're big enough and we have enough of a usage that, unless I'm mistaken, we have to match the grant, correct? I think it was 40,000 that we were looking at one time. There's money involved in this. The original Sustainnergy was a dollar for dollar grant, I believe.
So this one, the granting typically covers 80% of the project costs.
So we had 20% that we're gonna be, and I honestly, like, our rec center is basically non-functional now till next September. So I don't see the need for us to expend any kind of money into this. And I took it as a sign that it's never been able to get off the ground in 3 years, so I'll take that as a sign for my no vote.
Anybody else? Yep, go ahead.
We don't know where the rec study is going to take us, and this might be valuable information, depending on where the rec study will take us.
Okay, anybody else? So how much are we gonna have to match in this one? I'm not there now.
We would have to do 20%. However, we did learn today that there's another intake coming for the From the Ground Up grant. The provincial government is going to be opening up another intake, and we would be able to apply for matching, which would 100% cover this project.
So it's no cost to us.
It would be if we're successful in both granting
But
applications.
if we're not successful,
If we're not successful, then we either would choose not to proceed or,
Should we write that in? If it's not, oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay, yeah, that was gonna be my suggestion, is that we proceed with both applications and only proceed, or are we gonna be in trouble if we are successful and then we don't proceed? Successful with one and not the other? Or is it gonna look frowned upon? It usually is, right?
typically it is, yeah. If you're putting in granting, you're going ahead with the project one way or another typically. It's just, you get granting for
What's
it.
the deadline for this one? I should know, sorry, I was in there.
So pre-eligibility deadline was the end of May. We put forward just our name in. So we're in the intake, but we won't know if we're successful. I don't even have a timeline as to when the federal government will decide the granting applications and if we're successful.
Do we have a rough idea of what the cost would be, as far as what our 20% would be?
I think the package was, sorry to interrupt, I think the package was 40,000 was voted for. Remember there was 3 different packages? And everybody had voted for all of the public buildings was a $40,000 plan, in which case we'd be on the hook for 8 grand. And we were having trouble with the $12,000 master plan for the rec center, so this could be $8,000. And basically of no value.
How does this, excuse me?
Sorry. No, nothing, no. Sorry. I was waiting because nobody was saying anything. I thought we
I
were.
was reading this.
Oh, okay.
Parts of it, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Nobody was saying anything, so I was having a nap.
I thought that was sort of an insult at me, but,
No, I was just taking a nap.
Okay.
I'm famous for him.
yeah. Is there a point to table this and see if we got it? And then we proceed with it? Or do we proceed with it and end up spending more money, or we just get rid?
Well, at which point you're approved for the funding, the federal government's allocated funds to us to go ahead with the project. So they would, in theory, if we decide, if the plan is to not go ahead with the use of this funding, the federal government, in theory, could have already allocated that money to another community that is planning on moving forward it. So, yeah.
You're biting your tongue, huh?
I would recommend either choosing to go one way or another, just because we don't want to potentially put ourselves in a spot where other communities could utilize funding, especially considering how hard it is to get funding, specifically through the federal government.
Yeah, you don't want to be on a blacklist too badly.
Yeah.
So, I know nothing about this. How does this help us?
I have the original package that I can afford you from them, from like 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
I know, but we're gonna vote on it now, but thank you.
Yeah, so what the system is it installs sensors on the electrical panel in the buildings and then tracks usage. It then utilizes that data and compares it to other community centers of similar operation and considers what their average usage is and what it should be compared to what our usage is, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And then we can see which areas could be potentially looked at in the future for improvement to make it more cost effective or cost efficient, energy efficient. in different areas. So if it's like, the mechanical room, the furnace, the lighting, it would take all of those different panel lines
Mhm.
into consideration for both buildings.
Yeah.
Jean was first.
Oh, sorry, I
Um,
keep turning now, I apologize.
Mayor Putnam, if I'm not mistaken, some of the discussion was around, this is valid information, should we be wanting to move forward with other grants for net zero? It's valid and important data for that would increase our chances for additional grants. And the other question I have is, do we have money in the budget for the 8 grand? If council were to decide to go with it and then not be successful with the second grant?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just waiting for
Oh,
an
I'm
answer
sorry.
to, do we have money in the budget?
I thought you were
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at Jody and I looked
No.
over there.
Currently, there are no funds allocated towards this project. However, that said, we could take into consideration other ongoing projects and make adjustments in the budget accordingly. Otherwise, it would be an over budgeted line item.
It's basically an old-fashioned fire-up schedule. So what it does is like some people come into the building and flip everything on. Whether they're on the 3rd floor or not, or whether they go to the basement, everything's in the on position. Now the second, and it justifies whether or not you should be doing it. It gives you a usage based on that. But the other thing is that it's also a greenhouse gas submission thing. And for discussions, we've had this before, is that Manitoba's greenhouse gas emissions from their power grid is 0. Okay, so we've got 0, anything less than 0 is less than 0.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we have 97% wind, or 97% hydro and 3% wind. So we're already in a position where Manitoba isn't like Ontario with nuclear power plants and coal-fired plants and so on and so forth. Our greenhouse, our power grid is already at 0, so.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, this system also can tell you if you have parts failing, I mean, just to let you know.
Yep, there's that aspect too.
Yeah. If
And
it's
there's-
overdrawing, yeah.
It's feasible that we might get it and cost us nothing, correct?
There is that possibility,
50-50.
yes. Yeah.
And is it gonna tell us what we already know, that the ice plant is failing, that, you know what I mean, like we already know that, it might be a whole different story if we had all our new compressors and everything else in there. And we were using it 12 months of the year, and we're not.
And we already know that.
It's not gonna tell us anything I don't think we already know. And you're right though, it could cost us 0, but it could cost us 8 bums.
Yeah. That we're not budgeted for. Okay, any more discussion? We're all good? All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Agenda item 10.10, 2025 municipal grant. Be it hereby resolved that the following grant allocation be approved as follows. Evergreen Basic Needs, $7,500. Evergreen Festival of the Arts, $350. Olympic Beach Community Curling Club, $8,575. West Shore Community Foundation, $1,000. Madeline's Closet, $3,000. Winnipeg Beach Food Connection, $3,000. Winnipeg Beach Legion, $8,575. Mover, please. Larry. Seconder. Larry. Discussion. We're good? All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 10.11, request for use of space, DCDM. Be resolved that council approve the temporary use of the vacant space in the old bank side of the town office building, including the administrative office area and mayor's space, by Denise Stooner and the nonprofit organization Do Care Do More, DCDM, to operate a community resale initiative, benefit the Interlake region, and be be it further resolved that the use of the space shall be subject to terms and conditions to be established by administration, including hours of operation, insurance, liability, access, and maintenance responsibilities. Be it further resolved that this approval is granted temporarily and the council may choose to use the space differently in the future. Mover, please. Seconder, Mary. Discussion. Yep.
Temporary use, is that until maybe we find a renter for the place, or?
Well, sorry, your hand was one up.
No, I scratched it,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. I was under the notice, I thought that administration was moving back in there. That's what I was thinking. So I think we sort of need the space. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I thought we were still, like, there's some, call them repairs.
Yeah, there are,
I know like there's a ton of people coming at us now that wanna use this, but
Still need to
having
see-
this discussion is moot until we figure out we can actually breathe in there, you know what I mean, like.
yeah, so there are repairs planned for that space. And then the intended use is for administration, in addition to the food connection already over there, and then the mayor's office space.
Like, I really like the idea, I think it's great, and I wouldn't turn it down, but I agree with Mayor Potton is that, you know, if, say, 6 months from now, we're moving in there, like, you don't want somebody to come in there and get set up and good to go and blah, 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 and then, oh, by the way, we're taking it back.
Yeah.
So,
It could be 3 months.
and so what I say is that get the thing fixed, and then we can seriously look at occupying it.
Oh, sorry.
We had a discussion, administration has identified the need for extra space. And that's the only place they have to go. We also all agreed, space for the mayor. And we are already, I mean, the reality is, there is a cost per square foot associated with the space that we are providing to the food connection. So we are in kind donating space to them that does have, in actual fact, a taxpayer's dollar attachment to it.
Yeah.
We are supporting the community with the space that they have. The Historical Society has a bit of space. I don't think we have any more space to be, unfortunately, to be giving to community organizations, either as an in-kind gesture. We need to see how much space administration needs. Our staff don't have a lunchroom. I just don't think we're kind of at capacity right now with commitments we're making and what we need internally. So I can't see us being able to grant this request.
Ms. Stewart does good work. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But we had allocated it to administration already, and we have to fix the ceiling before we start, and the vents and the ducts and the, I mean, we have to look after the office first, you know, so this is, it's too bad it doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't want to mislead Ms. Struner to, you know, get somebody set up and everything's good to go and things are going well, and all of a sudden, oh, by the way, next month we're taking it back.
Yeah.
So I'd like to, before we make these decisions, I'd like to at least, and I understand administration, I agree with everything. We've had this conversation copious times, but we keep coming back to the paper exit sign, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't invested any money into fixing it, so.
I think we have money put away for fixing it. No?
Yeah, there is budgeted funds this year.
Good thoughts.
Okay.
Great. Is everybody is good? All in favor? All against? Carried. Agenda item 10.12, Winnipeg Beach Historical Society 2025 proposal. Whereas the Winnipeg Beach Historical Society has submitted a request for support towards its 2025 initiatives, including heritage sign, updated walking tour brochures, and continued restoration of the caboose. And whereas these initiatives align with the town's strategic plan, priority of culture, heritage, and arts, as well as the broader goal of enhancing tourism, supporting local businesses, and promoting economic development. Whereas the town has allocated $11,000 in 2025 financial plan under economic development, which may be utilized to support this type of heritage, tourism, and promotional initiative. Now therefore be resolved that the Council of the Town of Swan Beach approve a financial contribution to the Winnipeg Beach Historical Society in 2025 to be drawn from the economic development budget as follows. Up to $800 plus applicable taxes for production of a metal signage, historical and QR code signs to support the walking tour. Up to $975 for the printing of 5,000 updated historical walking tour tourism brochures. Contribution of toward the interior restoration of the caboose and associated visitor amenities such as seating and displays. Be it further resolved that the town provide non-financial support, including public works staff assistance for signage installation, continued administrative support for future grants, applications, and events, temporary use of an office space in the former bank building, subject to availability and coordination with administration. Be it further resolved that the town formally acknowledge the Winnipeg Beach Historical Society's role in supporting community, heritage, tourism, and economic development. Mover, please. Doug, seconder. Discussion. Yep.
Yeah, heritage signage, where is that going, in the bank building where you got a room, or where?
I took it different, I'm thinking of putting it up,
The,
if I read it right.
the metal signage, if that's what you're,
Well, it says heritage signage, I don't know what we got.
yeah, so the heritage signage is classified under, is the walking tour signs. That's the signage, that this is speaking to, which are currently temporary wood stakes, and like a,
So where's it going, at the bank building here?
no,
No,
it's all
no,
in
no.
the community. There's already signs up, that are connected to the walking tour, and the brochures.
All along
Okay,
the
so where
board.
exactly is it going?
There are over, I think, 30 locations in town, downtown. Like all
Boardwalk.
So they're
throughout.
gonna be smaller,
It'll be this, it'll be
Signage.
the exact same signage that's up currently, only it'll be metal and metal stakes, so it actually stays in the ground.
okay.
There have been issues of vandalism,
Yeah.
and just even the weather knocking these stakes over.
Firewood.
But yeah. So this would make them more permanent, and just continue the walking tour, project that the Historical Society is
Okay, thank you.
undertaking.
Are they anticipating, they say they want Public Works to help with this, but are they gonna concrete them in, and we've got approval from the parks for this, from the province?
We would work
Yeah.
with Parks,
No, I say that because they rip them out, they throw them on top of the pergola, they throw them in the lake, they've replaced them at least twice that I've seen. Because they're just 1x2s and they hammer them in with a mallet and somebody comes along and goes, it ends up in the lake.
They would, I mean, we would look at how it's anchored, and what the expectation is. Like, I don't even think our stop signs are anchored in concrete, like they're just.
Some of them,
Yeah, some of them are.
but they end up in the lake too, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Like,
Yeah, so,
and I don't want to sound really corny, because you and I inquired before, but we're missing 4 banners now on Main Street, and they were 7. I brought it up at the last meeting, I think, or, and then we found out that they were put up kind of haphazard, and we had a complaint. I found it 2 banners, and I know where the other 2 were, but they were just put up kind of shoddy, and they're gone. So if we're going to invest another
yeah,
amount of ratepayers' money into it, I just wanna, I don't care if we put a 4,000 pound concrete block into it, but I mean, we can't just invest the money, put the sign in, and then 2 weeks later, oh, where'd the sign go?
yeah, so if council would like, you can increase the, amount for the metal signage portion of the
I'd like to see
resolution.
how it's gonna be put in the ground. Okay, cause even, again, back to the ones, $7,000 for those ones on Main Street, and 4 of them are missing right now. So, and I'm gonna guess that they're $800 a sign, like.
The-
There's 4 missing, all of the center block between Center and Robinson,
Yeah, the
all 4 of
banners.
them, we have them, but they were put up, taken down, 2 were blown down, you know what I mean? So, and they're fairly costly. So we can't keep throwing money at this and then, you know, oh, there's our sign floating by in a lake.
Yeah,
So-
and this is a different initiative than that.
Right. So I would like us to see how they're gonna be installed.
If you hammer a steel stake in the ground, if it's the ones I'm thinking of with the holes in them, good luck trying to pull them out.
Yeah, once you put them in properly,
Yeah,
yeah,
just-
but that's my point, is that the other ones that came along with, and good on them, I'm not running them down, because, you know, somebody had to go out there.
Yeah.
And not just once, but twice now, with a mallet, and they hammer it in, and they're, you know, it's frustrating, but it's just money, money, money. So-
Well, it is, but like I said, if it's metal stakes and you hammer them.
No, I know, but I would,
They'll stay.
but what if it's not metal stakes? You know what I mean?
I think that's what it said, wasn't it?
Yeah. No problem. I have it up if you
Oh,
don't.
sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, go ahead.
Our goal is to eventually have matching large interpretive signs for the 16 more public historic locations and to add a small QR code sign linked to the tour for the existing cottage signs. I would like to propose that the town provide funding this year for temporary metal signs with the QR code for the walking tour and small signs to add to the existing cottage signs. So they are metal signs.
Okay, you said temporary?
She has, Wendy has indicated temporary.
Yeah. Temporary in a sense that the idea is that the current interpretive signs, the large panels that are located in our community, which we have, I think, 7 of, or potentially a couple more, I believe the idea is to then turn those one small QR code ones into those big interpretive signs with the full story on it, so you don't have to have your device to be able to understand what the stop is.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think they'll stay in there. So, how much money do you want to put in this? It's asked for 3 different numbers here.
So the quote for Airmaster was 800 plus applicable taxes. As we are a municipal member of the AMM Trading Company, we'll probably get a better price on that as well, and get the benefits that are associated with that, so that could potentially reduce that cost. But I would recommend just leaving the amount as is.
But then it has a contribution toward the interior restoration of the caboose and associated amenities such as seating and displays. So it's 800, 975, and then if we're putting more in, go ahead.
Yeah, the total is 1775. I would like to, we don't generally use a lot of money out of our economic development budget line, if I'm not mistaken. So I would like to see a contribution of $5,000 towards the interior restoration of the caboose and associated visitor amenities such as seating and displays. That will also then, if we're committing the $5,000, that will allow them an opportunity to look for grants that may be matching grants and give them an opportunity to stretch that $5,000 even more.
Was I misinformed? I thought last year that they were supposed to be self-sufficient by getting grants and fundraisers? Or am I just misinformed?
I'm very misinformed.
Well, it could be.
Yeah, very misinformed, I thought.
I think that was just the exterior restoration, is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, for the foundation itself, the Historical Society to be self-sufficient.
I thought we were funding it too.
Okay, no, I could have heard wrong or thought wrong.
Have they actually, is the exterior done? Or are they gonna paint, like, are they gonna finish lettering and all that other stuff, or is that happening?
I read on that somewhere too, the lettering's coming this year. Some CP's donating some.
Yeah, CP does.
Signage there that'll go on and, so it's the lettering. I don't know if you call
Yeah,
it
you need
extension
them
or
to
what
use
they
it
do.
because it's their logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need them. So this is done, we have nobody that works on the inside of this thing, the actual, and so this is, because it was in need of repair before, so. Because if we're gonna throw money, do we have somebody, is the Historical Society gonna man this, and is this volunteer?
It's a project by the Historical Society, and when they first started the organization. It was Council of the Day supported them and you know, established they would be giving them financial support. So the head of the Historical Society, Wendy, is very adept at stretching a dollar and finding a dollar to match it, drawing community members out to help, again, stretch that dollar by volunteer work. They have great plans for the interior. They don't want to just fix it up, they want to make it a useful sort of tourist stop. And like I said, the $5,000 would enable them to look for grants that require some matching funding. And that still leaves us 40, a little over $4,000 still left in economic development.
So if we give them 2,500 and they got a matching grant, they get the $5,000.
That's correct, but this is not a small undertaking to be doing this project, and I just think that by committing the $5,000 to them, that gives them an opportunity to look for another $5,000 for this project. This is not going to be a cheap project.
Anybody else? Oh, sorry,
Did
Mike.
we give them an initial budget last year?
I'm over here.
We didn't end up, they didn't end up getting the, did they end up getting the? Yeah, they did, yeah, they got some money from us last year. Sorry, I'm thinking of Destination Winnipeg Beach didn't get the money, yeah.
Yeah, there, I believe, some money was expended to help cover the costs of like paint and stuff like that. It was very minimal, last year.
Yeah, a lot was donated.
Yeah.
Paint was donated, the labor was donated.
Yeah, it was very minimal.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, just one other comment is, I mean, it is tourism in the community, and much like other groups, I would like to see next year for budgeting purposes, these requests come to us before the end of January so that we can factor it into our budget. It's just a thought, sort of in addition to this, but
Do they have any monies now in the bank, or where do they keep it? That they can throw in and match?
well, they're asking for this money from us because it's money that they need to operate.
So they have some monies then? They don't?
I-
Sorry,
I
Brad.
think they did bandstand, didn't they, once or twice?
Mhm.
So there's gotta be money there somewhere.
Or something, I'm
Who got
trying to
it?
minimize
We
the
got their
cost.
money. Or
We'd
we
have
hold it out to
to,
it?
we'd have to speak with the Historical Society on what their funding is, what their amounts are.
Yeah, but we don't have that money from the bandstand? Or are they keeping it? Have they got a bank account, or what's going on with that?
We would have to inquire with the Historical Society on that. Yeah.
But the-
Would it be possible for us to get a copy of their financials? Like, we requested that for a couple of people, or we mentioned it, for the grant applications, but even in some of the nonprofits that are out there, they still have to provide financial information. You know what I mean? So if they're getting, because we have no idea where they're getting their money from. You know what I mean? And it's not a slam, I mean, somebody has to be looking after the
Oh,
money.
I totally agree, it's definitely not a slam, it's good business to
Yeah,
do it
we-
that way.
And I'm not suggesting or even implying that they're mismanaging, I would like to know, you know, like,
Yeah. Well, I
so
was
can we
thinking-
ask for that? Can we say, hey, do you have some sort of a year end? You know, like,
Well, we are putting money into this thing, we should have an
Yeah.
understanding of what's there and.
And again, this is a individual request. When community groups go through that intake of our granting process, yes, they do have to submit financial
right,
information.
and when
that's
they're
a
doing grants
requirement.
as well, if they're applying for similar grants, then they need to provide information to whoever they're asking the grant from.
Right, what,
And they would have to file, albeit it's not tax as per se, but they have to file revenue with the government.
So, just to clarify, council, are you then asking any group that is requesting funds be providing bank statements with that request?
Not necessarily,
Or like
but
a financial
we've
group?
got a budget line for, economic development in here at $147,000. We got recreation and cultural at 418,000, so we're well over the 500,000 mark. I just wanna know, like, what I don't wanna do is just 5,000 here, 7,000 there, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for it. However, at some point in time, somebody says, show me the checkbook.
Yeah,
That
no,
makes sense to me. Yep, go ahead.
So they have told us what the $800 is for. They've provided a quote. They've told us what the $975 is for the brochures. These are things that they, with the timeliness of the season, these are things they need to go ahead and do now. Can we, what's up for debate, I would think is, and I could be wrong, and correct me if I am, the amount of contribution for the caboose. We know that these are real costs they're going to be incurring, the 800 and the 975. Could we amend the resolution to look at to support the real costs and get additional information about their plans for the restoration of the caboose and look at that separately at another meeting?
I definitely
I agree with
I
that,
agree
because
with
summer's
that.
coming in, tourists are coming in.
Yeah, they gotta get that stuff done.
They need it done for sure.
Okay.
Boy, but we should have a financial from them as well.
I think we should have that from everybody.
Sorry, I would just, so this is an individual request, and as the CAO said, are we asking everybody who's giving an individual request? Are we asking them financials? We've put several through tonight that we did not ask for financials on, so I'm not sure why this isn't a grant request, it's an individual organization request. Yes, there is probably additional information we could get clarification on, but we can't be asking one for something under an individual request and not another. I mean, yes, we can ask what their financial status is, do you have any money? I know from being the town rep on the Historical Society, they spend their money before they come asking us. When they come to us for money, it's because they need it. And they're doing things that are contributing to tourism in the town, like the signs, like the brochures. But if we could at least amend the resolution and pass the two, so that they can get started on that.
See, we're not in disagreement with
Yeah.
the other two, it's this one.
No, but I'm just saying, if we're gonna ask for financials of them, then we should be asking for it for every other one-off that we've approved tonight. Either we want financials, like, the ones we've asked for financials for are those that applied under our grant request. But we've never asked anybody on a one-off request for their financials before. So are we wanting to start doing that for everybody with a one-off?
Or maybe we're just gonna ask this, just because it's good business to do it. This is quite a bit of money. And then there's quite a bit, like just from this one here, so it's $5,000 and 1775. Well, that's a big chunk of change, like we sort of gotta watch out. So in my opinion, we could change it and approve the first two parts that they need right now. And then let's look at some finances. Go ahead.
I think it's an unfair comparison, because the other ones, we're donating points off a credit card and $150 in swag. This one's asking for legitimate money. I've expressed concern that, and again, that, you know, it's nothing intended, but we've thrown money at these signs before, they end up in the lake. We've thrown money at banners, they end up disappearing. You know what I mean? In the 21 years that I've lived in the beach, I think this is the third time now that we've fixed that caboose. You know what I mean? And my statement was that, you know, hey, I want to see how much it costs at some point in time. Like, we got $147,000 budgeted for this. I want to see where's the return on that investment. Now, when I talk about a West Shore Foundation, I know about West Shore Foundation. When we talk about the blind golf, that's the first time we've seen it. But, you know, and we're donating for silent auctions, swag and points. Here is Canadian cash. With the, you know, albeit it's the Queen's head and not the King's head, but there's a profile on that you can use it anywhere in this country.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to see their plan for the interior, actually.
Yeah.
That's kind of my, you know, what are they gonna do? Exactly what are they gonna do? Because it's almost gutted now, isn't it?
I haven't been.
It's-
Yeah, I've been in there once,
It's really bad shape.
yeah.
And I hear them, and I want them to be successful, but at the same time,
Oh, absolutely. But we gotta watch the money. Sorry?
Perhaps we could invite the Historical Society to come as a delegation to council to discuss what their plans are for the caboose, what sort of, I mean, it is making it difficult when they're asking for a contribution, but we don't really have a dollar value, or we don't know what the whole project is gonna cost, so perhaps it could be invited to come as a delegation to council, and then at that same meeting, we could have a resolution on the table after we've heard what their numbers are and things, to then consider a contribution towards a caboose at that time.
Yeah, because I think that's actually a low number, like what they're asking for.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They might come back in a month and say, oh, we didn't have enough, and need another 5,000, we're gonna match your out, and then we need more.
So
So
maybe there's,
try to figure it out.
yeah, maybe there's something out there that we can find to help them along.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not a hard on anything, it's just information for us.
yeah, okay.
So are we gonna just change this? We could stroke out this here part for the
Yeah,
caboose?
yeah, so we can stroke out the contribution request portion. And then add in a clause to request a proposal on the
Mhm.
interior caboose project and presentation. Okay. So in the last, at the very end of the resolution, I've included, and be it further resolved that council request additional information on the interior caboose project to be presented to council. Is that good?
Good for me.
Yeah, that's good for me.
So what we're gonna ask for, what they're asking for is 1775. All in favor? Carried. Excuse me. Number 10.13, refund payment sent in air. Be it resolved, the council authorizes the refund of $3,000 to the property owner of roll 27700-000, which was sent to the town of Winnipeg Beach in air and mistakenly applied to the property tax account. Be it further resolved that the administration be authorized to issue a refund check in the amount of $3,000. Mover, please. All right, seconder? Jean? Any questions on it? All in favor? Carried. Uh, 10.14, Winnipeg Beach Food Connection Sidewalk Permission. Be it hereby resolved, the council approved the following additions, amendments to the previously approved use of sidewalk space for the Winnipeg Beach Food Connection fundraising barbecues. That the September 20th, 2025 Shine sidewalk permission be changed from the community center to Main Street. That permission be granted to hold an additional fundraising barbecue on July 1st, 2025, Canada Day on Main Street. Mover, please. Doug, seconder. Oh, there. Discussion. Oh,
If I'm not mistaken, Mayor Plotton, July 1st, is July 1st one of the days that we have a couple of food carts in town?
I have no
On our
idea.
Canada Day celebrations?
I do not believe so, no.
Oh, okay, then never
Just
mind.
boardwalk days.
Nope, that's fine then, that's fine. Yeah.
Are you taking the lemon guy, the lemonade thing as a food cart? Because he's the.
Sorry, I need to rephrase that. there is a difference between a food cart and a food truck, and we have food trucks at these events, not carts.
Because I think the level.
Trucks take up space on the road,
Yep.
carts can, yeah.
Go in.
So my only point of that, and since Councillor Jarvis has said that is, that if that's, this would still be determined by the person coordinating the event as to where they would go. And if there's other food trucks, if there's food trucks here that day, it needs to be coordinated with the food trucks as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we should know if there's food trucks.
There are a couple of days where it states that food trucks are here. I know Boardwalk Weekend is one of them. I believe there's a second one and I can't remember.
There's
but-
about 3 of them
Yeah.
that show up. But I thought, sorry to interrupt, but I
No,
thought
that's all right.
the person that sets up the actual street, they have to allocate spaces where people go, that they would know that. Because you have to apply to somebody, there has to be, you have to book, they purchase a business license to come in here. Right, they just can't put a lemonade truck on, yeah, so somebody has to know about this.
Yeah, we only have the one event, Boardwalk Days, where we permit, food vendors. The market is its own,
Right, but they're there, I
Identity,
know they're there.
yeah.
And Harvest Fest used to have them, and and Show and Shine used to have them, they were there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm all in support of it, it needs to be in coordination with, if there are other visiting food vendors or food trucks, it just needs to be in coordination. The location on Main Street needs to be in coordination, and sometimes they're not on Main Street, sometimes they're on the side street, off of Main, so, I don't know if by us committing to it being on Main Street, we're interfering with the overall plan of the day. As opposed to, I understand you don't wanna be in the rec center and you wanna be on the street. But I have a concern with us committing to Main Street if that doesn't fit in with the overall plan for the day.
I have a concern that we don't know if they're coming or not. That's my concern. Like,
I would back that up. You know, like, we, before we even had an opportunity to go into the golf tournament, it's sold out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if people are lining up now for it, like, I know it sounds really strange, but there's a couple of things in my life that I know I gotta book in a year in advance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've already booked for next year. So first come, first served. So,
And so we do allow this? I don't know, I'm all
I don't
for
know.
food trucks, obviously.
well, no, we're talking about the, food truck.
Okay, let me clarify my point. My point was simply that if these are days where there are food trucks or food vendors, while the request is for Main Street, I don't know if we can, as a council, commit to Main Street, but we can certainly commit to them being included in the positioning of any food vendors
Yeah.
that day. Because, and to be honest with you, Mayor Pot, and I look at whether we've got food trucks or food carts here as an administrative thing, not a governance thing, so if they're here, they're here, if they're not, they're not. All I'm saying is we need to be mindful that
That'd be nice.
they may be here.
Yeah, and what you're saying makes sense, but it'd be nice for council to know, so we could tell people, hey, there's food trucks coming. Or hey, there's no food trucks coming.
Well, this is just one request from the food cupboard.
Yeah, I know, but that's the
Yeah.
same day as when there might be food trucks.
But back to my point is that if he's booking in now, good on him.
Yeah,
You know, like, well, there's no guarantee that anybody else is gonna show.
well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's
Should
no
be-
guarantee. Like, don't save me a seat because there's no guarantee that I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's where I was going, like, same thing, like we don't know. And we don't have to know as a council, but then we
Yeah.
can sell it to people, right? Anyway, have we made you totally confused yet?
yeah, I do need some clarification on the wording change for this resolution, council. My apologies.
So I guess.
So is the verbiage okay, or? are we-
I thought the verbiage is okay. The request says that they wanna be changed from the community center to Main Street. So all in favor, you know?
Okay, that's what I needed to clarify.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is, we don't know if, based on what's happening with Show and Shine, whether there's gonna be a spot on Main Street for them. So while I understand that they wanna come out of the community center, Main Street may not be available based on where the cars are. When they're full, when the weather's good, there isn't a spot on Main Street for a food cart or any of the side streets. The park may be an option, but, so I understand that they want to come out of the community center.
Yeah.
I completely get that, but we need to be mindful of Main Street may not be an option.
We could put on the end of that per availability.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we could amend the resolution to state that, final location will be determined, you know, by operations, at the event day, just
Yeah.
in the event of, you know,
Yeah.
Main Street's
And
full.
for the record, we might not even have a show and shine.
Well, like, yeah, weather.
Weather permitting, there's too many
Weather
variables.
permit, there's so many variables.
And there's always some guy that books a car that's not there. 3 or 4 cars don't make it.
Yeah.
There's always that.
Okay, so I'll just, be it further resolved that the, final location will be, determined,
By the organizers.
Based on availability,
yeah, the final location
available space.
will be determined, I'll just say by the town.
Show and Shine is not our event anymore. So that's why I'm suggesting by the organizers.
I'm good, if council is okay with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
We beat that one to death.
Just vote. So
Okay.
I'll go washroom.
All right,
You good?
I'm good.
All in favor? Carried.
Go in the washroom. Committee reports.
Do you wanna take a quick 5?
No.
Sure.
Or you wanna keep going?
Oh, let me back.
Okay.
We keep going.
Oh, read slow. 12.6 committee reports approval. Be resolved, the council accept the committee reports as presented. I guess we have to read it. Mover,
Yeah.
all right, seconder. Oh, I thought we were waiting for him.
Discussion?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna wait for him. Discussion. Go ahead.
Just wanted to comment today at the AMM district meeting. In the fire chief's report, there is reference to rallying the province with regard to lift assist. The AMM is also dealing with that matter, so more angles it's coming at from the province. Hopefully it'll have more weight, so, but it is on the AMM's agenda. It is an issue province-wide.
We're gonna wait for Doug or?
No, you can proceed, you've got quorum.
All in favor? Carried. I didn't want to miss anything. Agenda item 13.1, roundtable discussion. Yep.
I would just like to share some good news for the Historical Society. Donna Ferguson has taken over the building across the street, 30 Robinson, and it will be, the front area will be the future home of the Historical Society's museum and gift shop. No date yet. They will keep me apprised of any future announcements that can be shared at council with regard to the timing. We did have the Interlake District meeting today, and Winnipeg Beach will be hosting the June 2026 Interlake District AMM meeting, so that will be nice. And attended the Sadie Grimm event on Sunday. Excellent entertainment, and it was nice to hear history, and some of her family were there. And big kudos to the motorcycle organization that did all of the work to get such a beautiful structure added to our park.
I got an email from Interlake Eastern with the new directive that approves more hiring for here and additional space. And we're supposed to meet, within the next week or two, she'd like us to meet. So our committee will meet with her and we'll go over it and I'll be able to tell you what happened after that.
Sorry, Mayor Patton, what committee are you referring to?
Clinic, health committee.
You have a health committee?
Wasn't that health, did we pass the Barry and I around? That was a health committee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to attend, so if I could be advised of the meeting? Perfect, thank you.
I think it might be a phone call, this one, but if she comes out, I mean, absolutely.
One by one, can I get on a call? Please?
Yep. I'm hoping she comes out. Anybody else got any more? There's nothing to vote on this, I just heard it and that's it?
There's a resolution on the next one.
Oh, that'll be why. 13.2, council committees and board reports approval. Be it hereby resolved that council approves the council committee and board reports as presented. Move for. Second there, Barrow. All in favor? Carried. That's fine. 14.1, accept correspondence. Be hereby resolved that correspondence be accepted as circulated. Move for. Seconder. King. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. What? Adjournment. Be it hereby resolved the council adjourns to June 11th, 2025 regular meeting at
7:37.
7:37.
That's an airplane.
Mover, please. Seconder. Larry. Carried.
Call to question.
Oh. Never call for question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. I was so excited that was the end.